Hello, everyone. I'm just letting you all in so we can see you all coming through. Hello, good evening, everybody. It is lovely to see you guys. Nice to see you. Hi, Nicola. Hi, Jemima. Hi, Kate. Hi, Val. It's good to see you guys. I hope you are really, really well this evening. Dark and chilly where we are tonight, but all good. Nice starry sky. I actually just let the dog out in anticipation of tonight. And he had a little potter up the garden. I thought, oh, what a gorgeous night sky it was, because when I had a look earlier, it was all cloudy. So it's absolutely lovely to see it looking so wonderful tonight. So good evening and very warm welcome, and a huge welcome to Jemima. So Jemima, I'll get you to do an intro in just a sec. But guys, I didn't really tell you too much about Jemima because I just wanted you to come into tonight's session just kind of, I don't know, with anticipation, with a really open mind, and just be guided by whatever comes up for you tonight. So what I really wanted to do tonight was to bring in Jemima to do a bit of a session for us, and I'm going to be taking part as well, which I'm so excited about. I can't wait. But before we dive into handing over this session to Jemima, I want to just do the bits for us kind of that I wanted to take you through first, so that when we finish the session, we can just go off without kind of having any kind of wrap up bit at our end. Jemima can wrap it up for us. We can thank her, and then we can just go and relax. So this is our penultimate coaching call. So feels a bit crazy. So we've got another coaching call next Sunday. And then the week after that, I'm not going to be doing a Sunday call, but I will be dropping in live in the group a couple of times that week. So remember, you've got loads of support. And next week, I'll be telling you about sort of how things are going to work going forward as well, which will be amazing. So, but make sure that, you know, over the next week, you keep coming to me, keep tagging me in things. If I miss anything or I don't respond very quickly, tag me again, because sometimes I do miss things. So apologies if I miss it first thing, but just don't be afraid. If I haven't got back to you within like 24 hours, just tag me again. It's probably just that it's slipped in my notifications. So don't worry about that. So I would love just a bit of, I don't know, a bit of a sum up really in a sentence of where you're at this week in terms of the program. So you can pop it in the chat box. That would be amazing. Now, I know that Nicola gave us a bit of a revelation kind of earlier in the week, but it would be great to just hear from you about, yeah, just where you're up to, where your mindset's at the moment, just where you're at in a sentence as we're coming towards the end of this program for you, just as we come towards it. We've still got a couple of weeks left, so don't worry. We're not closing the doors just yet. But just as we come through, just a quick sentence in the chat box would be amazing. It's nice to check in. I have got a water tonight, but I thought I would just quickly try and get a cuppa in before we dive in. I think for me, my week has been a mix. I've had quite a busy week, lots going on, but I've also been experiencing a little bit of a cold, so I've been trying to keep that at bay at the same time. Lots of nice herbal teas and things like that as well. So let's just check in on the comments there. So yeah, Maddie's saying finish one month planning ahead. Brilliant. So that's what I'm looking forward into, that future focus. That's amazing, Maddie. Fantastic. Feeling positive and slightly nervous I won't get it all done. Well, do you know what? If you're aiming for something really big, then you might not get it all done. But hey, whatever you achieve is going to be incredible. So I think, you know, yes, it's okay to be nervous and to have that moment that you maybe won't get it all done. But you know what? It's okay. Just do as much as you can, give it your best shot, and then you know that you've given it as much as you possibly can before you move on. And you guys have achieved so much in the last sort of 6-7 weeks. It's been incredible. So you should really be recognizing that for yourselves as well. Val saying a bit behind, been a busy week or two. You know what? And there's no need to worry about it feeling like behind. Where you are at the moment is right for you. And like I said, right at the back of the program, that's why there's this time at the end where I'm still around. I'm still here to support you, because sometimes we'll have those weeks or those couple of weeks where things just get in the way, life gets in the way, we find ourselves committed to other things, and we're focusing on other things that are important to us, you know, and that's absolutely fine. But you are where you need to be right now, and you can reconnect with this and just dive straight back in. Kate feeling like, so, well, I'm going to say the same to you, Kate. Feeling like so behind, but feeling positive. Yeah, and that's incredible. You know, being in that really positive headspace, you know, having that, you know, Kate, you've had such a busy couple of weeks. Now you've got a bit of time to breathe and to kind of like reflect on where you're at and what's going on for you, which is really good. It's great that you're feeling really positive. Clarity of the question, Nicola's saying, although not the answer yet. So I think that's really interesting, Nicola. And I love that you share with the group that actually you felt like you've been asking yourself maybe the question that you felt like you should be asking yourself rather than the question that you really need to ask. So I think that's such a powerful realization when you get to that point. And I'm so glad that you shared that with us too, because I think it reminds us all sometimes that sometimes the question we're asking isn't that sole question. It's the question that we feel like we should be going to rather than where actually we need to be going, and we need to be opening ourselves up. And I think that over the last few weeks, we've been kind of delayering, if you like, some of those things that are getting in the way and actually getting to that point where you can feel like, yeah, I'm ready to ask and maybe even answer that question. It's coming up soon. So interesting to feel that process happen. Amazing. It's really good to hear, guys. Just before we dive in, and I'm going to hand over to Jemima in just a second, I'm going to, for tonight's session, normally I obviously ask about Q&A and things like that. What I'm going to ask you to do tonight, just because I really want to give us that time for Jemima and not for Jemima to feel rushed or for you guys to be thinking, oh, I'm getting really tired now, because 8 o'clock on a Sunday, we know is our kind of downtime. I've got my jogging bottoms on, I'm in my comfies, you know, and actually it's about really getting into that space together. So if you've got questions or comments, then I'm going to put a questions thread into the group tomorrow. Please answer, put your questions on that. I'm also going to give Jemima the opportunity to come into the group and answer your questions too. So if you, after tonight, if you have questions for Jemima or you want to follow up, share comments, put that in the group, because Jemima's going to have access to the group for a little while as well to come and answer those questions for you. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. Give me a little thumbs up if it does. Yay, amazing. That's good. All right, great. So I want to introduce you to Jemima, who is somebody who I've known for probably 2.5 years now, Jemima. Yeah. It's gosh, where's that time gone? I know. And we met by chance, which was really curious. And I was actually I had booked a room at the place where Jemima was working at the time, and we kind of met as I was going to meet a new coaching client, and we kind of got talking, and before you knew it, we were working together, which was really cool. And I knew that Jemima and I would work together. We both felt like in the future we would kind of, our paths would cross again. And they have done a number of times actually since then, which has been a total pleasure. Jemima is incredible. I'll let Jemima tell you a bit about who she is, what she does, and then hand over to everything. But we are in safe hands here, guys. I've known Jemima a long time. She's totally our vibe, which is amazing. And I really hope that in tonight's session, you're going to feel able to be open to what she's going to be sharing with us, and that it helps you to move through where you might be feeling a little bit stuck right now. But as I say, any questions, comments, put them up into the group and we'll make sure we come to them tomorrow for you as well. So Jemima, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Amy. Thanks so much for inviting me on here. As you just said, we've been planning on doing something together for a while, and here we are. So I'm really excited to be here and to meet everybody. So my name's Jemima, and I'm from the Stress Free Life Academy, and I use a technique called EFT, or tapping, and I help people to release stress, anxiety. I use lots of different techniques, but tonight I'm going to do some tapping with you. So I'm going to talk you through exactly what that technique is. Has anyone heard of EFT? It's also called tapping. It's like acupuncture without the needles. It's this process of tapping on points. So I'm going to teach you the process, and we're going to do a bit of releasing. And I thought, as it's been quite a year for everybody, one way or another, we could have released summer 2020. We're in December, and we're going to do a bit of future self as well, so we can do some predicting where we're going to be and start getting some really good vibes going. It's kind of a strange thing to talk about, but when you're doing this technique, it will just feel great. Good. So any questions before we start? We're just going to make you dive in and start doing weird things, basically. Okay, great. So yeah, EFT, it stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. It's also known as tapping. And it's a process a little bit like acupuncture. As I said, we tap on these specific points on the head and hands and it moves energy through the body. So our energy flows through us, and sometimes that energy is blocked by toxins, all the things that we're not meant to have, that we love. So caffeine, alcohol, sugar, it affects our energy flow. Trauma from the past, so difficult memories, that's affecting our energy now, and also our core beliefs. So the way that we feel about ourselves and about the world. And I'm sure with the work that you're doing with Amy, you're going to be bringing up your beliefs. And a couple of people have said already that you're feeling behind. So that's something we can look at and what that feels like in your body. As I say, this will all become clear as we go through. So we're just going to dive in, and I'm going to invite you just to copy what I'm doing and experience it. So we're going to do something called the breath test to start with. So if you just put your feet on the floor, get comfy, and put your hands over your heart. And just take a few breaths and just breathing easily. Take a deepest breath as you can. And notice how full your lungs feel right now when you take that deep breath. And just give that a percentage. Is it 100% full, 50% full? Notice what that feels like. Good. And then breathe normally. And then I'd like you to choose a colour that's going to help and support you right now. So it could be a favourite colour or just something that feels right for you. And breathe that colour in through your head. So your hands over your heart. And just breathing in energy. It might be clear, might be white, might be a colour. Good. And then I'd like you to keep one hand over your heart. Take two fingers from the other hand and start tapping on top of the head. And breathing. And the next point's the beginning of the eyebrow. So as you can see, I'm just telling you what to do immediately, this very strange thing, side of the eye. Because the best way to experience it is, or to experience the benefit of it, is to just do it. So here we are, that's it. And under the eye. So each of the points that we're tapping is the beginning of an energy line in the body, and each one relates to a different organ and a different emotion. So this one under the eye, for example, relates to the stomach, which is associated with fear. Next point, under the nose. So as you're tapping, some of the points might feel sensitive, they might feel uncomfortable, they might be comforting. And then on the chin, so it's just to notice what that feels like. And breathing. Good. And the next point is just below the beginning of the collarbone, there's a dent. So it's just about 1 inch below on either side of your collarbone. There's lots of points all around here. So this is called, this is the kidney meridian. So it relates to anxiety. So you might need to notice people put their hand to their chest if they feel anxious. This is what I call the emergency tapping point. You can just tap or rub or hold this point and you're going to start to feel more relaxed. And the next point is just below your armpit on the side of your rib cage, just where your bra strap goes across. On the side there, that one can be quite tender. And then with your palm facing you and the thumb at the top, it's the side of the nail that's closest to you on the thumb. That's it. And same point on the first finger, side of the nail, the middle finger, the ring finger, the little finger, and the side of the hand. So those are all the points. We're going to whiz through those again quite quickly. One hand over your heart, breathing in that colour, tapping on top of the head. And as you're doing this, you might notice that you might yawn, your tummy might gurgle, you might want to stretch, you might just feel energy moving through your body. You might take a deeper breath, you might want to sigh. Yawning is a really good sign. And side of the eye. And under the eye. Under the nose. On the chin. Collarbone. Under the arm. So it's normally about 7 times on each point, but you don't need to count. It's just a guide. And you can do either side, whichever's more comfortable. And then side of the nail on the thumb. The first finger. The middle finger. The ring finger. little finger, and the side of the hand. Lovely. That's it. You've just done 2 rounds of tapping. Well done. Hands over your heart. Take a deep breath and just do that again. Try and take a really deep breath and notice what your lung capacity feels like that now. Is that the same? Has that gone up? How's that feeling now? Does anybody notice a change? You can pop that in the chat box if you have. Good. So hopefully your lung capacity has increased. Is anybody finding that? Okay. Good. Definitely had a change there. Great. So that is the essence of the technique. We tapping through the body to create change, basically. So what do we use it for? So I work primarily with anxiety, trauma, unresolved memories. So I work with people, you can kind of close your eyes and step into a memory and start to clear difficult memories. We're not going to do anything like that tonight, don't worry. But what we are going to do, as I said, this year has been pretty tough. I don't need to tell anybody how difficult it's been. So what I'm going to invite you to do is maybe choose a word, or maybe there's a particular moment that's been difficult, something you want to let go of. And I'm going to ask you to identify what that feels like in your body, and then we're going to start to clear and release that. So what will really help is if you can tell me what you're feeling. So maybe if it's anxious or stressed, where you feel that in your body, you can just put that in the chat box, and I'm going to guide you through some releasing. Does that sound okay? Hope I'm making sense. Just literally diving in with you all. Good. So have a think back over this year and just notice what it feels like. Feeling worried. Okay. Notice what it feels like to look back over this year. What happens to your body? What that stress feels like. Where you feel it in your body. Anxious and lower chest around stomach. That's great. That's really helpful. Thank you. And maybe you can give that a colour, that feeling. So Kate's got stressed, shoulder pain and migraines. Okay. Maddie's got white, feeling anxious, upper chest and shoulders. Okay. All right. So give that anxiety, that stress, whatever it is in your body, give that a number out of 10 of how strong that is for you right now. 4 or 5, great. Okay. Really good. So what we're going to do now is we're all going to tap along together. We're going to start describing the feelings in your body and start to let them go. Okay, so just relax and breathe. So I'm going to invite you to repeat after me. I'm going to say some phrases. You can say them out loud, or you can say them in your head, whatever feels okay for you. But close your eyes for a moment and breathe in a colour that's going to support you. Notice all that stress and tension in your head. So I see, Kate, yours is 9, that's pretty high. So in a moment, you're going to feel better. So breathing in that colour. You can keep your eyes closed while we're doing this, and I'll tell you where to tap, or you can open your eyes, whatever feels more relaxing for you. So keeping one hand over your heart and tapping on top of the head and repeating after me, all this stress. And beginning of the eyebrow, all this tension. And the outside of the eye, all this worry. Under the eye, all this anxiety in my chest. Under the nose, all this stress in my chest and shoulders. On the chin, everything I've been through this year. Collarbone. It's been a really, really difficult year. And under the arm, I've been through so much. And the thumb. And I'm working really hard to have a better future. First finger. All this stress in my body. Middle finger. All this tension. Ring finger. All this anxiety. Little finger. This pain in my shoulder. Side of the hand. These migraines I've been having. Top of the head. All this stress and tension. Beginning of the eyebrow. All this worry. Side of the eye. I wonder what it would feel like to let some of this go. Under the eye. I've been carrying so much stress with me. Under the nose. Stress with my family. The chin. Stress with my friends. Collarbone. I've been trying to achieve my goals. Under the arm. It's been really, really hard. On the thumb. But I've been working to help myself. First finger. And now I'm learning a new skill. Middle finger. And there have been lots and lots of good things this year too. Ring finger. I have big plans for next year. Little finger. I have the support of this group. Side of the hand. There are lots of good things that have happened. Top of the head. But when I think about this year, eyebrow, and everything I've been through, side of the eye, my body gets tense, under the eye, and stressed, under the nose. And then I can't think properly, on the chin. I feel anxious, collarbone, but I'm letting that go now. So I'm just going to stay on the collarbone now. You can tap both points of both hands and really notice any of that tension that might be left in your body or any memories that are stirred up or any thoughts that are coming. And just breathe it out. Notice as you breathe in where they are in your body and release them as you breathe out. Just take 3 deep breaths, breathing it in and letting it go. Breathing in, feeling it in your body, letting it go. Nice deep breath in and letting it go. So you might notice, as I say, yawning, stretching. There may be some tears. There may be other memories and things stirring up. How's everybody doing? Give me a thumbs up if you're okay. Good, great. We're going to keep going. Okay. So in a moment, when we've cleared some about this year, we're going to do a future self. We're going to see ourselves in the future, free, happy, achieved all the goals you're working towards now. We're going to really bring that in. But right now, we're going to acknowledge and release anything else that's left in this year. So again, have another good scan through. Go back through the last few weeks, back through the last few months, back through lockdown, all of those news reports, all of those things that happened. And let's send something peaceful, supportive all the way back through this last year. It might be a color, it might be an animal, it might be an energy, it might be an angel. If there was someone or something that could have supported you through this year, maybe it's this group, maybe it's this friendship that you have, maybe it's all the support that you felt. But kind of reach a hand back to the beginning of the year or beyond, to a younger you who might need your help. Good. Great. And then we're going to keep tapping. So then under the arm, everything I've been through, on the thumb, all these difficult things I've had to deal with. First finger, all this grief that has been in the world. Middle finger, all the stress I've been through. Ring finger, I've made it to December. Middle finger, it's nearly the end of the year. Side of the hand, I've achieved so much. Top of the head, and I want to leave all the stress in this year. Eyebrow, I'm not going to take it forward with me. Side of the eye, I'm going to take the lessons. Under the eye, everything I've learned. Under the nose, I'm going to take that with me. On the chin, all the stress I can leave behind. letting it go. So I'm going to tap again, double hands on the collarbone, really allowing anything to come up and release. Let's do 3 more nice deep breaths, noticing it as you breathe in, releasing it as you breathe out. Noticing it as you breathe in, releasing as you breathe out. And once more, noticing the stress and releasing as you breathe out. Really good. And now just bring your hands back over your heart, close your eyes for a moment and just scan through your body. Bring your attention from the top of your head down through every cell and notice how you're feeling now. You can bring your attention all the way down to your feet, really connecting with the ground. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes again and just let me know how you're feeling, how you experienced that. Tune into that initial feeling that you had. How's that now? Hopefully you've started to shift and release. Feeling calmer, lovely. Feel lighter, great. You might need some water, calmer and emotional, aha. Very tired, that's the thing. Often carrying the stress around can be like carrying a heavy box. You put it down, you go, oh, blimey, that was exhausting. You know, you can start to realize how much energy you've been holding. Started to unexpectedly cry, but feel a bit better now. Aha, it's that movement of energy. Again, you don't have to go far under the surface, do you, sometimes to find that stress and the things that we're carrying around. So that's great. So crying, all those things that are good, as long as you're okay, that's great. Good. Okay. Good. So you only do it on one side. You can do both sides. Block node is releasing, very good. You can do both sides if you want to. Whatever feels more comfortable, and you can do one side. Some people like to swap over, but it's just moving the energy through the whole time. The energy lines go all through the body, so you can just do what feels right. Some people I know just tap on one point exclusively, but I was always taught to move all the way through. So Amy's blocked nose is releasing, which is great. So it just shows shifts physical symptoms. So what's it used for? As I say, I've just dived you straight into it and we're doing it, but you can use it on physical symptoms. So for example, if you had a headache or a blocked nose, you would describe that feeling that you had. So you might tap around and say, this blocked nose, this blocked nose, this blocked nose, or this headache. You get describe the feeling in your body, and as you tap, you start to release and change it. I'm going to send you a map of the points and a description so you can start doing this on your own. But we can also look at beliefs. So let's look at belief. I wonder if there's a core belief. Amy, I'm assuming, have you done some work on beliefs? Have you ever? Yeah, I'm assumed you had. Well, we talked about it and you have. So if there was one core belief that might sum up the whole group, or maybe there's one individual one, because often something like I'm not good enough is quite a common core belief. Or as a couple of you have said, I'm feeling behind, so maybe it's I don't get things done. But if you choose a belief, what would be really helpful? If you could wave a wand and clear it, what would that be? And Val's asked, how often should we tap? Whenever you need to, but every day is really helpful. It's a bit like wash your hair, brush your teeth, clean your energy. It's a little bit like that. And if you've got something going on in particular, difficult phone call, you can just tap on the collarbone while you're doing that, or tap through the fingers. And the more you do it, your body starts to recognize that, oh, I'm moving energy through, I'm going to change how I feel. So it becomes a really good supportive habit. So does everybody have a belief that they'd like to clear? Good enough has come up in different ways in the group. Should we focus on feeling good enough? Would that be helpful? Or not feeling good enough? Yeah? Okay. So get into the feeling of that. If you just say out loud or in your head, I don't feel good enough, what happens to your body when you feel that? There might be a heaviness, there might be a sinking feeling, there might be a tension somewhere. So just notice what that feels like. Maybe it's the same place as the anxiety you had, so you can pop that in the box so I know what you're feeling, where it is in your body. Tightness in my chest, great. Heavy chest for Val too. Sinking feeling, across your shoulders. Okay, so noticing that not good enough feeling. And taking a deep breath, hands over your heart. And again, choosing a colour or an energy that's going to lift, dissolve and clear. And just imagine being able to dissolve this belief once and for all. And you can keep your eyes closed if you want to, or tapping on top of the head and repeating after me. This not good enough feeling. Eyebrow. This belief that I'm not good enough. Outside of the eye. I know it's a belief. Under the eye. A belief is a thought that I just keep thinking. Under the nose. It's not the truth. On the chin. But sometimes I don't feel good enough. Collarbone. Maybe I don't get things done in time. Under the arm. Maybe I procrastinate. The thumb. Maybe I'm bad at making decisions. First finger. Maybe I just think I'm not good enough for no reason. Middle finger. I'm quite hard on myself. Ring finger. I'm probably harder on myself than I would be on anyone else. Little finger. Maybe I've got high expectations. Side of the hand. Maybe I'm a bit too hard on myself. Top of the head. I wonder if I could feel differently about this. Beginning of the eyebrow. I know that I'm good enough. Side of the eye. I know that I'm doing my best. Under the eye. Even when I don't get it right. Under the nose. It's always my intention to do my best. On the chin. This feeling of not feeling good enough. Collarbone. It doesn't serve me anymore. Under the arm. And I'm letting it go. On the thumb. Releasing it now. This tightness in my chest. This heaviness in my chest. This tightness across my shoulders. This sinking feeling. This feeling in my body. Letting it go. Okay, so just tune back into that feeling. Try maybe say that out loud again or in your head. I don't feel good enough. Notice what that feels like now. And hopefully that's starting to shift. What's that feeling like now when you say that? What happens to your body? Pop that in the chat box to see if that's shifted. So Amy, yours was across your shoulders. Nicola, you had a tightness in your chest. How's that now? Less tight. Good. Lovely. Good. That feels like it's cleared. Great. So as we know, a core belief, saying it feels more distant, like it doesn't belong to me. Absolutely. Oh, it's okay. Your laptop was plugged in. So, oh, it's okay. You're right. Okay. I see. You had to suddenly jump up. Good. So as you can see, in the same way we were just tapping with emotion before, now we're tapping with a belief, and you can start to feel that has a different impact on your body. We can start to tap in the feeling of good enough. But I wonder, let's just do a little dive. If there's been something in the last week or so where you haven't felt good enough, where you've had this feeling or a moment where it's been difficult, we're going to just dive into that and clear that, just so you can experience what that feels like. So close your eyes for a moment. And if there was a memory of a time when you've had this feeling when you didn't feel good enough, Could be quite a small moment, just one of those, oh, I didn't do that, or should have done that. Just see yourself there in that moment. And freeze that picture. And I'd like you to step into that picture and connect with the other you. So just in your mind, seeing yourself there. And I'd like you to talk to that other you and tell them you've come from the future and you've come to help them. And I wonder what advice you would give that other you. Maybe you give them support, maybe you give them a hug, maybe you give them a cup of tea, whatever they need. Just take a moment to have that conversation with them. And then you can wave a wand, sprinkle some magic energy over them and just help them to lift, feel better, release that moment. And while you're doing that, keep your eyes closed and just gently tap on the collarbone. And feel any stress from that moment lifting, dissolving and releasing. I'm going to go quiet for a moment while you just tap and talk to the other you. And when that picture feels clearer, then you can stop tapping and come back when you're ready. Okay, just keep breathing. So it can be quite emotional, might be bringing things up, but just keep tapping, keep breathing. Just letting it go. And it might feel good to bring someone else into that picture again. It might be an animal or a friend or an angel. Bringing support to the other you. Okay. So when that feels complete, you can just gently stop tapping. Okay. So that looked like it might have been bringing some stuff up for a few people. How's everyone doing? Is everyone okay? So that's the thing with this technique. You can just tap and keep breathing and whatever comes up, you're going to move through it. Okay. Does anyone want to share what they just experienced? If they're okay? You okay, Nicola? Yeah. Okay, you okay? So that's just a little demonstration of what the sort of work that I do is that we go into the past to clear energy and emotion. So often I go right back to childhood with people, to the very first time they experience the emotions for the first time, when we set up our core beliefs, which is the first 6 years of life. That's when we start experiencing our emotions for the first time. We're looking at our parents or the people around us to see how relationships work, how we function in the world, what women do, what men do. And we start to form our way of existing in the world, how we're going to survive, basically. And when we're born, we believe our parents are right, and anything goes wrong, it must be my fault. So that's the survival, basically. They have to be right, so therefore it must be me. But of course, it's not the fault of the child. So we just make decisions in those moments, and then we reinforce them over time. So examples of that are things like phobias. So if somebody might be phobic of a dog because when they were 3, a dog barked in their face and they got scared. So you can kind of see why that might develop. But it's the same with beliefs. I'm not good enough. Things like public speaking, those first early experiences at school can really impact on how you function socially. So all those early images and moments of trauma, unresolved fears, basically, and to the subconscious mind, they're still happening. So it's like a frozen moment in time, and it's still impacting you now. So when you've got to go and do a public speaking, maybe a 4-year-old you is going, no, don't do that. So they're terrified, telling you not to do it. Your adult self can do it, but this part of you is quite scared, and that's the part that will trip you up. So it's the parts that don't feel good enough, will trip you up. And we filter the world with these beliefs. So as you start to remove those beliefs, you start to clear blockages in your everything that's in the way of your future, and then things start to unfold. So now we're going to experience your fabulous, beautiful, wonderful future that's coming. All the work that you've been doing, everything you're working towards. So this is a really, really lovely way of working. So some people say you shouldn't go back, shouldn't clear trauma from the past. You should just focus on the big, shiny new future and keep moving towards that. But in my experience, those early images can be so difficult to clear. They need some resolution. There are lots of different ways of doing that. But this is the really lovely, inspiring bit that feels great. So I'd like you to imagine yourself in the future. So you might have timescales already. You've got goals. So imagine yourself in the future, might be days, weeks, months, years, having achieved the goals that you've set yourself, feeling confident, happy, strong, free, whatever it is you want. Close your eyes and see yourself there. And I'd like you to step into this picture and connect with the future you. If there's anyone else around in this picture, just freeze them. Connect with that future you and tell them silently in your mind that you've come from the past and you've come for their help. And now you can ask that future you for some advice. You might have questions for them. I'm going to be quiet for a few minutes where you just have a conversation with that future you. And when that feels ready, you can ask that future you to step into your body for a moment so you can experience what it feels like to be that future you, to have achieved those goals, to be where she is. And turn up the volume on this feeling. Make it as big and as bright as you can. What color is this feeling? And then find somewhere in your body where you can store this energy so you can access it whenever you need to. And just tap on the collarbone while you're doing that. So you're feeling this future you. All your goals have fallen into place. Everything's working perfectly for you. Life is conspiring to help you. What you want wants you to. And every step you take is taking you closer and closer to achieving those goals. You've already achieved them, you're just catching up with them. The future you is real and exists. And you're catching up with her, one step at a time, one breath at a time. And then send this energy back into your past. All the way back through the last few weeks, months, years, all the way back to a baby you, sending support and knowledge that everything's going to be okay. Everything's working out. All is well. Everything in your life is bringing you to this moment so you can get to that beautiful future. And send it forward into your future and fill your house with this future you energy. All this success, confidence, freedom, happiness, achievement. Send it out into your home, into every conversation. So everyone you meet can feel it flowing from you. Again, take your time, sending this wherever it needs to go. When that feels complete, you can just stop tapping and bring your attention back to the room. So just tap, send that energy out, and finish when you're ready. Lovely. Good. Your feet are tingling. Lovely. Good. How was that for everyone? So that's the feeling you're going for. I'm sure this is what brings you to your goals, to where you want to be. That's how you know what you want to do, because it feels good when you think about doing it. So when you can supercharge everything you're doing with this energy, When you're sitting down to do any work, you can just tap for a moment, bring the future you in, really big up that energy, going, yeah, this is why I'm doing it, because that's where I'm going to be. The more you feel like that, the stronger that will be, the easier it will be to get there. And those blocks just fall away. Good. Feeling more empowered. Great. Lovely. Does anyone want to share their future picture? What did you see? Where were you? I'm always on a beach somewhere whenever I do it. Holiday. In the garden. Lovely. In the office. Great. So if you can get a picture or something that kind of encapsulates that image, you might have done this already as well, but something you can in your kitchen looking out and feeling healthy and happy, fabulous. So it's great if it's somewhere where you are, because you can feel that every day. But if it is a holiday that you're aiming for, then you can get a picture of the place where you want to be. You can stick it up on the fridge. In a field, normally it's a beach. Lovely. So anything you can do that reminds you of that future feeling is going to help you to move towards your goals more quickly. So if you can get to that before you do the steps, you're going to make the work more easier for yourself as well. So you tune into that feeling. So it's a little bit like being, if you're at a party and you're having a really boring conversation with somebody, but over there's your friend. Like, I want to talk to them. You just put your attention over there. You put your attention with the good feeling and not with the negativity here. And the more you do that, you'll get closer to having that fun. Because we can't change what's happening right here, but we can put our attention over there and then we'll start to move towards it. And that future you energy is the key to that. I also like thinking of it as the hot and cold game. You know, when you hide something and someone else has to find it, you go hotter, hotter, colder, colder, colder. It's a bit like that. The better you feel, the closer you're getting. Your emotions are guiding you the whole time. If you feel negative about something, you can tap and clear that out, or you can just choose that positive feeling. Okay, so that's a little bit of a whistle-stop tour of EFT and matrix reimprinting, which is the work that I do. Does anyone have any questions? Feeling quite hot? You can, as that energy moves through, you can have all these different sensations in your body going on. So that's lots of water would be helpful for everyone to drink as well. We clear toxins out of the body as well.
Just unmuted myself, but if anyone else wants to unmute,
please do.
I'll unmute you and you can share back sort of rather than typing. But Jemima, thank you.
Pleasure.
That was really lovely. I feel like I'm sitting taller, and actually my sort of talk about my congestion and things. My blocked nose is really cleared. Like I feel like I can breathe a lot easier now, which is lovely actually.
Yeah.
The last few days. So thank you.
Pleasure. Yeah, it's as I say, you can use it for anything, and you can tap on just tapping and breathing. You're going to start to shift something in your body, like you did right at the beginning.
Does anyone else want to ask a question or share anything? You don't have to.
No, you don't.
It can be quite a personal experience to go through.
It really can. Yeah, it really can. And as I say, it works on anything you're going through, because whatever you're experiencing, you're having an emotional response. So that's where you would start. So whether it's a physical pain in your shoulders and neck, for example, yeah, we're all sitting at computers and doing this, but there could be layers of stress in there, anxiety in there. So you can start to sort of unpeel the layers. So it's a really safe thing to do yourself as well. You can just tap and breathe, and you can't get anything wrong or hurt yourself in any way. There are loads of tappers on YouTube. Just put EFT in YouTube and your issue, and you'll get 100,000 videos. I've got some various free resources on my website and various bits and pieces. So I'll pop that in the group.
Yeah.
And anything you want to know, I can also do like a little free session for anyone who wants to talk about how I might be able to help them if they're interested in anything. My joy is just to talk about this all day long. So any opportunity.
You just answered one of my questions as well, which was, I'm sure that people are thinking, like, if I go off and experiment with this by myself, obviously it's you've been guiding us through, which I think takes a whole layer of thought away from it, just listening to you and following it through and copying your words, which is lovely. But I think, even sort of just giving, if we wanted to give this go ourselves, I think it's really reassuring to know that you can't do any damage with it. You can't go wrong. Yeah. It's just actually going with your intuition around what you're feeling and thinking and experiencing, and just trusting that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Your body is your guide the whole time. as long as you're listening to your body and naming it. Your feelings want to be acknowledged, but we tend to kind of push them away. We don't want to feel them. But once you acknowledge a feeling and it's cleared, then it's gone. But often we sort of go, no, I'll just think about that instead. So it can kind of build up. So it's not, you can do just a sort of general tapping every morning or every evening. As I say, you kind of wash your body, wash your energy. Or you can tap in together with friends. You can just sit and go, how's your week? Yeah, pretty tough, actually. Let's just do this for a minute. And as you acknowledge and tap, you start to clear and dissolve it. So how often, sorry, someone's asked, how often, but how many rounds of tapping in the same session? So again, whatever feels right. So if you recognize what you're feeling, so you've got a headache and it's an 8 out of 10, then you can tap one round, go, how's it feel now? Okay, now it's a 7. You might tap another round. Oh, it's gone down to a 5. So you just keep checking in and tracking with where you are. We're usually aiming to get to like a 2 out of 10 for emotions. That's what you're allowed. That's what we always call it, the emotion police. But yeah, you can tap as much or as little as you need to. Just as a general rule, just maybe 5 minutes of tapping on it, just tapping and breathing in the morning and the evening will really help to shift. On my website, I've got something called chakra tapping, where you put one hand on one chakra and then you just tap through the points. And it's kind of like a meditative process. That's really nice. That takes about 10 minutes. So I'll send you all the links to that too. So there we go. That's tapping, like all of it in one go. So thanks for bearing with me.
I think it's really good to get stuck straight in, actually, because otherwise you end up sort of overthinking it. And, you know, it's funny because I know that I remember when I very first sort of discovered EFT and the concept of it. And, you know, I was sort of thinking about, you know, you can do this any way you like. You know, you might feel a bit conspicuous, but actually you don't really. Like, once you kind of get into it, if you give yourself to the process, you almost forget that you're doing all these different things, and you almost just forget. So you can be quite discreet when you're doing it as well, if you want to do this sort of in public, if you like. You can
absolutely. Yeah, it's really mindful as well, because you're doing something. Because when you're stressed, people want to do something, so you are physically doing something as well. So that helps to distract you from what's going on as well. So it works in so many different ways. Oh, I'm glad you loved it. It's my pleasure. You're going to sleep well tonight. Good. Good. Oh,
thank you, Jemima, so much for coming in this evening and giving us an amazing Sunday evening experience. Something, guys, to set us up for the week ahead, to really bring things together. You know, you've all been working so hard on, like I said earlier, delayering those bits and working through things and processing. It really felt like the right thing for us to do, to be able to have some extra support in releasing some of those things and giving you that opportunity to step into your future focus and then really think about what's coming up for you in the next, 1, 3, 6, 12, however long months. So thank you, Jemima, for guiding us through that.
Oh, absolute joy. Thank you.
That's been amazing. I'll pop the recording up for everyone to see. And I will pop a little note in the group tomorrow about what to expect for the next couple of weeks. And I'm also going to invite Jemima to join our group. Just so if you have any questions, Jemima, you can obviously pop your website link in there and everything else, any other resources. If you've got any questions, you can ask Jemima directly, which will be much easier for you guys. So thank you, everyone, for joining us this Sunday. I will speak to you guys in the group. Have an awesome time. And thank you again, Jemima. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks so much. Pleasure. That's a lot. Thank you.